In this CCTV footage, a group of Egyptians catches a beautiful Polish girl. She breaks free and looks like she's gone crazy. This girl came alone to Egypt on vacation, but her trip became a nightmare. Something so terrible happened to her that she lost her mind. And a few hours later, she will fall out of the window and die. What happened to the young, beautiful Polish woman Magdalena Żuk at the Egyptian resort? This terrible story occurred at the 4-star Three Corners Equinox Beach Resort in Abu Dhabi. One night at this hotel costs about $100, quite an affordable price, as in other hotels that are nearby in this area. That's why tourists from Russia and Poland mainly like to relax here. The flight from these countries is only a few hours. In addition, Egypt always has warm weather and a beautiful Red Sea with a rich underwater world. People come here from northern countries with great pleasure to enjoy the warmth and sun. And they are not stopped by the dark reputation of this country. It is no secret that tourists are sometimes kidnapped here, so going outside the hotel without a guide is quite dangerous, especially for women. For example, when I once vacationed in the Egyptian city of Hurghada, I felt unsafe. Local men have a very strange mentality. They pay increased attention to European women, constantly flirt with them, and make ambiguous hints. They often called me Natasha, Nefertiti, and even Shakira, and this even though I was vacationing with a male partner. Imagine how they behave if they see that a girl has come on vacation alone and no one can protect her, especially if it is a very young and beautiful girl such as Magdalena Żuk. She came from Poland for just 1 week in 2017 to stay at an all-inclusive hotel, but she never returned home. Only her dead body was returned to Poland for the funeral. This vacation became an absolute nightmare for her. Strange things began to happen to her from the first days of her stay at this hotel. The hotel staff and other guests noticed that she was behaving inappropriately. The 27-year-old woman was quiet for a while and then actively ran and danced. For example, she could lie on the floor in the hotel lobby and curl up. The administration of Egyptian hotels has long been accustomed to the fact that tourists sometimes abuse alcohol, which can be drunk in unlimited quantities on an all-inclusive system. Indeed, tourists sometimes get blackout drunk and need help. At first, everyone thought that Magdalena had simply drunk too much and that everything would soon pass. But her strange behavior only got worse. Her travel agent, Mahmoud Kairi, felt responsible for this girl's condition. The holiday system in Egypt is designed so that each tourist is assigned to a hotel guide who helps solve various issues, such as purchasing excursions or going to the doctor. A guide is always available at the hotel and always ready to help. Mahmoud spoke Polish, so he could call the girl's parents. And it is important here to tell who this girl was. Magdalena Żuk was an ordinary Polish girl from a simple family. She had a mother and father in Poland, as well as a fiancé whom she was going to marry. Magda grew up in the small Polish town of Bogatyń, with a population of only about 15,000 people. When she turned 17, she moved to the large city of Zgorzelec, where she had more educational opportunities and career prospects. The girl had an impressive appearance, tall blonde with blue eyes. It is not surprising that Magda tried to become a model. However, her modeling career did not work out, and she decided to become a cosmetologist. The girl opened her own beauty salon and received training as a nutritionist. She loved to take care of herself. She went to the gym, did her manicure and beautiful hairstyles. The girl was very popular among men, and of course she dreamed of meeting her love and starting a family. One day Magda went to a concert and met a handsome guy, Marcos. Within 2 weeks they began to live together, and a couple of months later they decided to get married. Their relationship developed too quickly. Magda was in love and decided to give her beloved a birthday present, buy a ticket to Egypt to spend a romantic week together. The trip was supposed to be a surprise for her fiancé. Magda even had to borrow money from her father. She asked for about $1,000. The girl worked a lot but was not particularly rich, as she had recently spent money on car repairs. However, it turns out that Marcos's passport expired in 4 months, while to travel to Egypt you need a passport with a validity of at least 6 months. Magda is very upset since the tour is non-refundable. They call their friends and offer to fly instead of Marcos, but everyone refuses. Magda does not want to lose the money she earned with incredible difficulty. Then Marcos suggests her to fly to the resort alone because she has worked so hard and it's high time for her to rest. Magda really does not want to fly alone, but she agrees. At the airport, she looks very sad and even cries on the shoulder of Marcos, who sees her off. On the plane, Magda meets a girl who is also going on vacation alone to the same hotel. They have a good time and even drink strong drinks. At the resort, the girls continue to spend time together and drink. But soon Magda begins to behave strangely. She runs around the hotel and pesters people around her. Her eyes are crazy, and she says strange things. A friend stops spending time with her because of her inappropriate behavior. At night, Magda calls Marcos and says she hears a noise in the room. She is terrified, she is worried, and it seems to her that someone has sneaked into her apartment. Marcos calls the reception and asks to check her room. Hotel workers inspected the room but found nothing strange. Magda's behavior is increasingly worrying tourists and hotel staff. She behaves aggressively and is completely insane. Guide Mahmoud tries to calm her down, but nothing works. He calls her relatives and tells them about her strange behavior. This is very unusual because Magda has never had such attacks before. She was not treated by a psychiatrist and did not complain about her health. Mahmoud asks her relatives to come and pick her up, but Marcos does not have time to get a new passport, and Magda's parents also don't have valid international passports. At this time, Magda's condition becomes even worse. She is found lying on the floor in the doorway of her hotel room. She is kneeling and has her head on the floor. She covers her face with her hands and says nothing. After a while, she convulses. Nobody understands what is happening to her. They put her in her room. She lies on the bed in only a robe and cries. Her condition is very serious and she can't explain anything. The guide has to call an ambulance. She is taken to the hospital, but there are no psychiatrists there. In addition, the girl refuses to take tests. Then she is taken back to the hotel. At this time, Magda's parents and her boyfriend are trying to contact the Polish embassy and travel agency. They buy return tickets and arrange for Magda to be taken to the airport. But the night before the flight, Magda climbs to the hotel's roof. Perhaps she wants to do something terrible. The hotel staff stops her and takes her back to her room. The next day, Magda is put into a car to be taken to the airport, but she behaves aggressively in the car. She screams loudly and tries to take off her clothes. At the airport, she continues to scream and struggle. Of course, the airport administration cannot put her on a plane in this condition. The police demand that she should be taken back to the hotel. But hotel does not want to take her back to avoid further problems. Mahmoud does not know what to do and calls Marcos. Magda's fiancé is trying to talk to her on the phone. This video call lasts about 25 minutes and has been leaked online. Marcos tries to calm her down and asks what happened. Magda says in incoherent phrases, "I will not return from here. They have all sorts of tricks here. Take me away from here, please. I can't talk, sorry, it's useless." After the end of the conversation, Magda seems to disconnect from everything. She lies limply in the car seat and does not react to anything. Mahmoud takes her to the hospital. She sleeps in the room for several hours, and when she wakes up, she behaves aggressively. She screams and tries to escape. Several hospital employees catch her in the corridor. These images were captured on CCTV cameras. Several men eventually carry her into the room, but she resists. The doctor gives her sedatives and ties her to the bed. Magda lies motionless for about 2 hours and then begins to move. The following events are unknown only from the hospital employees' testimonies. According to them, Magda broke free of her bonds, but how this happened is not clear. Either the girl did it herself or she asked to go to the toilet and the nurse untied her. Hospital staff try to stop her, but Magda attacks them and jumps onto the bedside table next to the window on the second floor. Then she falls from the window onto the concrete floor. Magda is still alive. The doctors are trying to help her, put her on the floor, and carry her into the ward. However, this hospital does not have the equipment to help a patient in such a severe condition, so she is transferred to another institute in Hurghada. At this time, a friend of Marcos arrives in Egypt, who is supposed to help Magda return home. He learns the terrible news that Magda fell out of the window and is in serious condition. Doctors put her in a medically induced coma, but she has multiple injuries. Marcos's friend arranges for Magda to be transported to Poland to undergo surgery there. Relatives agree with this decision, but the girl's condition suddenly worsens, and she dies in the hospital. According to the official version, her death was a result of injuries received after falling from a window. This story was widely reported in the media. In 2017, almost all of Poland was discussing this shocking incident. The most famous media in this country put forward different versions of why Magdalena Żuk could have died at a resort in Egypt. In the first months after the girl's death, Polish prosecutors questioned more than 200 witnesses, family, friends, former partners, and people who flew to the hotel with her. Investigators carefully examined Magda's phone, laptop, and luggage. They also checked her partner, Marcos's electronic equipment. The psychologist analyzed Magda's behavior in Egypt based on witness testimony and surveillance video from the hospital where Magda was staying. At the same time, Polish investigators did not have much evidence that the Egyptian side did not send to Poland protocols of interrogations of Egyptian witnesses and original surveillance recordings. What caused the strange behavior of the Polish girl and what led to her death? Even after almost 6 years, this question has no exact answer. There are only a few versions. The first and most common version says that Magdalena Żuk suffered from a mental disorder. Indeed, the girl behaved quite strangely back in Poland. She made impulsive decisions. For example, she agreed to become the wife of a guy she had known for only 2 months, and then she decided to give him a strange surprise in the form of a trip to Egypt. Such relationships can hardly be called healthy. In normal couples, people first get to know each other better before tying the knot. Also, in healthy couples, people first consult with each other before deciding to go on vacation to another country. Such spontaneous decisions may indicate that the girl may have had a manic episode, and finding herself entirely alone at the resort and drinking strong drinks, she could go completely crazy. However, because she did not receive psychiatric help on time, she took her own life. But the girl's relatives denied that she had any mental disorders. According to them, the girl never went to psychiatrists and always felt well. They are sure that someone pumped Magdalena with strong substances, which led to her strange behavior. Indeed, tests showed that the woman had a powerful antipsychotic in her system, a drug that doctors use to treat psychosis, bipolar disorder, and depression. However, this drug was most likely given to her already in the hospital. Also, an Egyptian toxicology report showed the presence of a prohibited substance in Magdalena's blood, which is made from local leaves. In Arab countries, this substance is often used instead of alcohol. In Poland, possession of this plant is considered illegal. Magdalena's family is confident that the girl's behavior in the hospital is explained by the fact that she was under the influence of this plant. Another version says that someone put illegal substances in Magdalena's drink in order to rape her or even sell her into slavery. It is quite dangerous for single girls to vacation in Egypt because in this country there are cases of kidnapping of foreign tourists. There have been several reports in the press that Bedouins from the island of Sinai have kidnapped foreign women in order to demand ransom for them or to sell them into slavery or for organs. There are also cases where single female tourists are drugged with sleeping pills or illegal substances in order to rape or kidnap them. Every year, hundreds of female tourists complain of harassment in Egypt. Local women also suffer. More than 99% of them have been harassed by men. This problem has a big scale in this country, so it is not surprising that the beautiful Polish girl Magdalena Żuk, who was relaxing alone and also drinking alcohol, could become an easy target for attackers. Perhaps they drugged her with illegal substances to kidnap or rape her, but then when she began to behave inappropriately, they decided not to contact her, since everything did not go according to plan. Moreover, it is possible that evil people have already caused her some harm while she was under the influence of illegal substances. This could have caused her to lose her mind and want to take her life. Magdalena acted as if something terrible had happened to her, as if she was trying to escape from someone. It was as if something had happened to her that made her no longer want to live. The autopsy results showed that at the time of death, Magdalena's only injuries were those that she received as a result of falling from a window. But the attackers could easily have raped her while she was unconscious and left no trace. It also seems suspicious that Egypt did not provide Poland with all the necessary research for a long time. Of course, they are interested in hiding everything that happened. The tourism business is the main source of income in this country, and such a scandal could lead to people refusing tours. It would not be surprising if the Egyptian authorities are hiding many facts from this case to avoid publicity, so perhaps many of the details of this case are not known to us. And is it even true that Magda decided to take her own life? Maybe someone threw her out of the window so that she could not come to her senses and tell the whole truth about what happened to her. We know about what happened in the hospital only from the words of witnesses, but they can hide a lot. There are also versions that Magdalena's fiancé, Marcos, could be involved in this case. Allegedly, he planned everything to sell the girl to the East. Indeed, they had known each other for only a few months, and their relationship developed too quickly. However, this version does not seem convincing, because Marcos did not know about the upcoming trip. Magda herself bought this tour as a surprise for her fiancé for his birthday. How could Marcos have foreseen all this in advance? Also, some people believe that the guide Mahmoud, who accompanied her all this time and took her to hospitals, may be involved in Magda's death. But why did he need to take her to the hospital when he could have simply taken her in another direction and sold her into slavery? Mahmoud has worked in tourism for many years and has never had any complaints from anybody. If he had been involved, he would not have helped her, but most likely would have simply disappeared so as not to attract undue attention to himself. In any case, there are still too many dark spots in this story. The death of Magdalena Żuk still remains a mystery to many people. What do you think happened to her? Leave your theories in the comments. And remember, evil is near.